We're also expecting a very cold finish to the week here with temperatures dropping below freezing for the highs in many spots. Right now we're above freezing in Central Park. It's 37 there. Same thing out at LaGuardia with a few clouds decorating the sky. 42 currently in Atlantic City with plenty of sunshine being reported down there. All right, look at the satellite and radar shows that things are much quieter than they were at this time yesterday. That's for sure. We have plenty of sunshine across the region. A couple of clouds kind of spilling over from the Great Lakes across parts of the Hudson Valley. So you're seeing partly sunny conditions around Sullivan, Ulster, and Dutchess counties. But we're not expecting any precipitation, at least for today. It'll be dry all across the region, and we'll generally see mostly sunny skies with a couple of clouds rolling in late in the day. Temperatures will be falling through the 30s as we go into the dinner time hour tonight, and we're expecting another chilly day for tomorrow with a chance of snow. I'll talk all about it coming up. Bianca?
All right, Audrey, thanks so much. Meanwhile, to this now, a developing story that we are following about the MTA. So in just a few days, a major change is coming to the F and M subway lines as they permanently swap routes between Manhattan and Queens every weekday. So it's a switch that could cause commuting headaches for more than 1 million daily riders. Fox 5's Arthur Chian joins us now. Arthur, the MTA just wrapped up a news conference. I think the big question here is why they felt like they needed to do this.
Yeah, and we'll explain that. But you said this is a permanent change, and it is, but only during certain parts of the week and during certain hours of those days. So there is potential for a lot of confusion on this one, and it is still one of the biggest changes to subway service in quite some time. Not only were MTA officials out here to inform the public about this change that begins on Monday, but we also see MTA agents throughout the station handing out flyers so that riders know what's going to happen. Now, beginning on Monday at 6 a.m., F and M lines are swapping, which means they will not go, one train will not be going to, and instead the other will at 8 different subway stations. Let's go through them. The F train will no longer stop at 21st Street in Queensbridge, on Roosevelt Island, the Lexington Avenue and 63rd Street stop, and the 57th Street stop. And it also means that the M will no longer be stopping at Queens Plaza, Court Square, 23rd Street, Lexington Avenue and 53rd Street, and 5th Avenue and 53rd Street. These changes are in effect Mondays through Fridays at 6 a.m. until 9:30 p.m. It does eliminate a merge that is the cause of a lot of delays of service along 4 train lines. And because of that, the head of the MTA says service will be faster and more reliable, not just on the F and M, but also for riders of the E and R lines. That's the reason why the MTA's chairman just now said people don't like change, but this one's worth it.
Listen, we're all New Yorkers, and we all know we have our set routine. Nobody likes change, but here's the real benefits. Folks in this station in Roosevelt Island are going to get less crowded trains, whichever direction they head into. The F train coming from eastern Queens is really, really crowded in the morning, so you have more chance of getting a seat.
Now, there are some soft spots here. For some, they may have to get up earlier in order to catch that F train, the express, before it goes local. For others, the question is, when will they know when they've missed the last train, according to one schedule, before the swap into the other? We'll have to see how this goes. We'll get our first look at it next Monday. That's the latest from here in Queens. Arthur Chian, Fox 5 News. Bianca, back to you.
All right, Arthur, thanks so much. To some developing news now, the man in custody after an NYU student was attacked on her way to class in Greenwich is expected to be arraigned today. 45-year-old James Rizzo is accused of coming up behind the student in a seemingly random attack. He is facing charges of persistent sexual abuse, forcible touching, and assault. Surveillance video of that initial act shows the suspect running up behind that student, then hitting her. In a social media post, the 20-year-old victim says he grabbed her hair and threw her to the ground. Meanwhile, Governor Kathy Hochul was right here at Fox 5 this morning for an interview with Good Day New York, and some of her comments could shed some light on how she's going to work together with Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani. Fox 5's Morgan McKay is here. Morgan, the big question of this, what did the governor have to say?
Hey, Bianca. So Governor Kathy Hochul this morning on Good Day did not rule out raising taxes on businesses and corporations next year. She did say, though, that she will not be raising income taxes. This comes as Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani has proposed numerous policy items that will need Albany approval, but come with a hefty price tag. On top of this, the state could be facing a budget deficit depending on if certain federal funding cuts go through. Hochul has made it clear over the last few months that the state will likely need to look at ways to raise revenue and hasn't ruled out a corporate tax hike. New York's tax rate on corporation tops out at 7.25%. Mamdani has proposed raising it to 11.25%. He says to make it even with New Jersey. However, New York City corporations also already pay an MTA surcharge as well as a state and city business tax, pushing their taxes higher than New Jersey.
I would just say this. The budget process is unfolding. We'll be working with the legislators over the next couple months, and we'll find out how we can take off a bite of what we need to do, like what is doable in this upcoming year and the following year.
Now, Hochul this morning also spoke about her conversations with the mayor-elect, saying she has discussed with him the importance of rebuilding the NYPD force. Mamdani has said he wants to maintain the current level of officers without hiring more. Hochul also says she is going to have the state to continue to fund the NYPD overtime, especially on the subways, something else that goes slightly against what Mamdani has said. He has expressed he wants to cut police overtime. Hochul does say she's going to work with Mamdani on rolling out universal child care, but says there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Universal child care across the state is projected to cost as much as $14 billion.
I already started universal child care in the state of New York. We're on the path to get there. But what people need to realize is that you can't just declare there's universal child care. You have to have enough facilities. You have to have enough teachers and caregivers. And so we worked on this over the last couple of years to really position ourselves to take more steps together.
Now, Hochul also says that New Yorkers can still expect incremental MTA fare hikes, despite the state taking steps to likely soon approve 3 new casinos. Revenue from these are expected to go to the MTA.
A lot of money being moved around in all different ways. Morgan, thanks so much for chatting with us. All right, to this now, Jersey City has a new mayor-elect today. Councilman James Solomon easily beat former New Jersey Governor Jim McGreevey in a runoff election. Solomon ran on a platform of making New Jersey's second largest city more affordable. He vowed to take on developers and special interests and improve the city's schools. He also promised to stand up to President Donald Trump, whose administration is suing to end Jersey City's so-called sanctuary city protections for immigrants. Meanwhile, Hoboken has also elected a new mayor in its own runoff election. City Councilwoman Emily Jabbour won that race with 54% of the vote over fellow Democrat and City Council member Michael Russo. Current Hoboken Mayor Ravi Bala did not run for re-election as he heads to the state assembly. All right, next at noon, it is mysterious, and it's a disappearance that has captivated the world. But now a new effort is getting underway to find answers about Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. And later, why the Trump administration is putting a pause on immigration processing from more than a dozen countries. some developing news now. Ukraine peace talks have been canceled. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, presented the Trump administration's peace plan to Russian President Putin on Tuesday night. Kremlin officials said today Russia is, quote, absolutely comfortable on the battlefield and sees no point in serious compromises. But just hours later, a spokesperson walked back those remarks and claimed talks are still ongoing. A planned series of talks in Brussels today between Witkoff, Kushner, and Ukrainian President Zelensky has reportedly been abruptly called off as well. The Americans have left Moscow and are said to be heading back to the U.S. Meanwhile, the deep-sea search for a plane that vanished more than a decade ago will resume this month. That is according to Malaysia's Transport Ministry. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 was carrying 239 people on a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing in March of 2014 when it disappeared from radar shortly after taking off. Satellite data shows it changed course for some reason and is believed to have crashed in the Indian Ocean. Beginning December 30th, the U.S. marine robotics firm Ocean Infinity will search for the wreckage. The company will be paid $70 million if that wreckage is discovered. A previous search in 2018 by Ocean Infinity found nothing. And the Trump administration halts immigration processes for more than a dozen countries. Why this change is happening right now and what it could mean for people hoping to come to the U.S. Plus, Gen Z drinking much less than previous generations, what health experts say they're turning to instead. Some developing news now. The wake of last week's shooting of 2 National Guard soldiers in Washington, D.C., the Trump administration stopping all immigration processing for people from 19 countries, including Afghanistan, where the suspect is from. Fox's Rebecca Castor has more on this.
Effective immediately, all immigration processing, including green card and U.S. citizenship applications, even ceremonies for those who already passed the citizenship test, are on pause for folks from 19 high-risk countries already subject to a travel ban. Afghanistan, Somalia, Cuba, Iran, and Venezuela are among those on the list.
Donald Trump has the authority to ban immigration from places that he determines, remember, not a court, he determines are detrimental to the interests of the United States.
It's the latest move in the White House's immigration crackdown and follows the deadly shooting of 2 National Guard soldiers by an Afghan national living in the U.S.
We have homegrown people in the United States born here that have been radicalized. But I do think it is a higher threat among people that come from cultures and backgrounds that make it harder for them to assimilate once they get into the United States.
At a cabinet meeting Tuesday, President Trump did not hold back when referring to immigrants from third world countries that he says cause problems in the U.S.
When they come from hell and they complain and do nothing but we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
I think what he's saying is he doesn't want brown people in our country. And that is disturbing, and it's un-American.
There are also reports the White House is planning to expand its travel ban from 19 to at least 30 countries. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Meanwhile, Colombia's Geological Service raises the alert status after the country's Puracé volcano erupts. Take a look at this. This alert was raised to an orange level after the volcano erupted for the first time in decades. That video captured ash, smoke spewing out near the city of Popayan. The last time that volcano erupted was 1977. All right, a little closer to home, no active volcanoes here, just actively getting dressed to get outside. You're going to need to layer up, but it is stunning out there. Audrey Puente, I mean, it looks beautiful, but yeah, the layers definitely needed.
It does not feel as good as it looks, for sure, Bianca. When you step outdoors, it's very cold outside, folks, and we also have a wind to contend with, so that's adding to the chill factor. Right now, we're sitting at 37 in Central Park. That's the same number we're finding in White Plains. Bridgeport, you're checking in at 38 degrees. We're at the freezing mark, though, up towards Poughkeepsie, and even colder in Monticello, where the temperature is at 30 right now. Islip, you're our warm spot on the map, as well as Newark, both checking in at 40 degrees. So our winds are getting our attention today, for sure. They're coming out of the northwest, and they're a bit breezy, so they're running between 5 and 15 miles per hour. That doesn't sound like much, but when temperatures are only in the 30s, it's making for wind chills that are in the 20s in many spots, including White Plains, where it feels like 28 degrees. It feels below freezing in Central Park, so yes, it is chilly out there. 29 is the wind chill in Poughkeepsie, 23 in Monticello, and it's feeling like 32 out towards East Hampton at the moment. Good news is the satellite imagery looks much better than it did yesterday at this time when we had the snow, sleet, and rain coming through the Tri-State area. Today we'll see plenty of sunshine and blue skies. The exception will be off to our northwest, where we could see a few clouds decorating the sky here with some winds coming downwind of the Great Lakes. It's producing some cloud cover in western New York as well as western Pennsylvania. So we're awaiting this cold front that's currently pushing through the Ohio Valley. We're actually under the influence of high pressure, which is dominating our weather pattern today. This front is making its approach. There's not a lot happening with the front. A couple of snow showers out towards Chicago, towards St. Louis as well, but it will produce a couple of snow showers off to our north here, and some cloud cover will spill farther south. Now, we could see a few flakes fly in parts of the Hudson Valley as we go into tomorrow afternoon. It'll be very light if it does happen at all. Again, these will be coming downwind of the Great Lakes, so we could see some lake effect snow showers reach just north of the city here with a few flurries. Tomorrow's high will be about 40 degrees. We have a snow chance on Friday, especially south of the city across parts of New Jersey. The high temperature, that's really glaring there. 32 degrees in Central Park, likely colder in our inland spots, so it'll be below freezing for a lot of folks at the end of the week here. Nice for the weekend, though. It'll be cold, but we'll see a mix of sun and clouds. For the most part, we'll stay dry, too. In fact, we have a nice dry stretch taking us into the beginning of next week, and then we have another chance of snow north of the city as we go into Tuesday. Definitely feeling like winter.
Oh,
Bianca?
yeah. Oh, yeah. When we're getting down the 30s, yep, we know it's
Yes.
real. Audrey, thanks so much. Meanwhile, steps are being taken to reduce flooding in, look at this, Prospect Park. Officials announcing the first ever Blue Belt in Brooklyn. Now, Blue Belts are drainage systems that naturally handle runoff precipitation that falls on the streets and sidewalks. And officials say the $50 million project also strengthens environmental resiliency.
Improvements will enable us to lower lake levels in under 36 hours, greatly increasing our storm capacity. Because what we're able to do is, when a storm is coming, create space in the lake so that the drainage flows into the lake rather than flowing out of the lake, which happens so often.
Officials say this move will also protect the Prospect Park Zoo. Well, next at noon, gas prices hit their lowest price in 4 years, but it may not actually be a good sign for the economy. We're going to explain why coming up. In health news, more and more Gen Zers are turning to cannabis over alcohol in an effort to cut down on drinking. A study out of Brown University revealed that after Gen Zers smoked weed, alcohol consumption fell by nearly 20%. The drop was even more significant after smoking stronger weed. Researchers caution that these results are for short-term use and that frequent cannabis use can come with its own health risks. Meanwhile, beer belly appears to be linked to a higher risk of heart failure in men. German researchers looked at MRI images from over 2,000 people between the ages of 46 to 78 and found a link between belly fat and changes in the heart's structure. This happened even when their overall weight wasn't especially high. Those with high levels of belly fat were associated with thickening heart muscles and smaller inner heart chambers, which actually causes the heart to pump less blood, eventually causing heart failure. And lowering your blood pressure could be as simple as tweaking your bedtime routine. A new study suggests going to bed at the same time every night could help regulate blood pressure for those with hypertension. Researchers at Oregon Health and Science University tracked the blood pressure of nearly a dozen middle-aged adults with high blood pressure and had them follow specific sleep routines. So they found that swapping daily bedtimes from an average of 30 minutes apart to closer to 7 minutes apart resulted in nighttime blood pressure dropping. So it also suggests sticking to a regular bedtime may strengthen circadian rhythms and restore healthier blood pressure patterns. And for the first time in more than 4 years, average gas prices in the U.S., well, they have fallen below $3 a gallon. But according to AAA, the national average price dropped to $2.99 a gallon yesterday. So we're not quite below that mark locally here. But however, in New York, the average gas price currently $3.13. Well, in New Jersey, it's $3.01. And in Connecticut, it's $3.08. That drop is attributed to lower crude oil prices due to lower demand because of the slowing economy. And it is an epic streaming war between Bad Bunny and Taylor Swift. The Puerto Rican musician was just named Spotify's most played artist for 2025. He had nearly 20 million streams around the world. Second on that list, Miss Taylor Swift. She held that top spot for the past 2 years before being dethroned by Bad Bunny. And Bad Bunny was Spotify's most played artist for 3 years in a row, starting back in 2020. As for here in the U.S., Taylor Swift holds the top spot on Spotify, followed by Drake, and Bad Bunny is in the 5th spot. Well, next at noon, 900 days and counting, a Long Island woman has not missed a day of swimming in the Atlantic Ocean, why she takes the plunge, and why she wants others to jump in too. Plus, later at noon, we're going to get a preview of a brand new book that is coming out that tackles all of the questions that you may have about menopause. And trust me, there are a lot of questions to be asked here. Stay with us.
Many jobs are available with the City of New York today. Get connected to career opportunities as a teacher, school nurse, correction officer, taxi inspector, and more. Whether you're starting out or looking for a change, there's a place for you with the City of New York. Start right now at deliveringforyou.nyc or call 212-386-5000. Hiring professionals are waiting to help.
Work with NYC is where you're meant to be.
Deliveringforyou.nyc.
Fox.
It is 12:30 right now. Welcome back to the Noon. We got a whole lot more coming up here. A new series on HBO depicting the harrowing events of the October 7th attack on Israel. We are sitting down with the producer and creator as well as a survivor of the attack. You want to stay tuned for that interview. Plus this one, Dr. Camille Claire is here with what women need to know about navigating menopause and hormone therapies. A couple things have changed within the FDA recently. You're going to want to hear this. But let's first get another live look outside. It is stunning on this Wednesday. Does it feel differently than how it looks? The person to say yes or no to that, Miss Audrey Puente, standing by with more. She's smart though. She wore a sweater. She's bundling up.
Right. I got layers on, Bianca, for sure. I had kind of a key point in the forecast here. It does look stunning out there, but looks can be deceiving because when you step outdoors, it definitely feels much colder out there. We have readings in the 30s across many spots in the Tri-State area as well as the Northeast here. We're in the 40s, though, to our south, like in Philadelphia and in Atlantic City. Colder towards Albany, where it's 27 and 26 is the current reading over in Binghamton. So we're pretty quiet as far as the radar is concerned, much different from yesterday when we had the snow, the sleet, and the rain encompassing much of the northeast. We have plenty of sunshine out there, a couple of clouds decorating the sky up towards Sullivan and Ulster County. They're coming downwind of the Great Lakes here. No moisture is associated with them, so that's good news. We're going to stay dry for today. And it looks like a cold front will be making its way towards us from the west. We're under the influence of high pressure. That's keeping things quiet up and down the eastern seaboard. But we're really watching this front here. It's sparking off a couple of snow showers between Chicago and St. Louis, and this is headed in our direction. We could see a few flakes flying north of the city, but more importantly, there's some very cold air that's coming out of Canada. Temperatures are in the single digits to teens in the northern plains here. Even as far south as the Gulf Coast, they're seeing temperatures that are below normal for this time of year. In fact, record cold will be likely across the central part of the U.S. here. Very cold just to our west. We're going to be below normal here as we go into Thursday, but this Arctic blast reaches us by Friday, and highs will struggle to reach the freezing mark by then. Today we're going up to 41, so that'll feel much better than Friday for sure. We have a northwest wind coming in, making for a cold breeze. You want to walk on the sunny side of the street today for sure. Tonight we're dropping down to 31 in the city, teens in some of the suburbs. It's going to be very cold across the region, and it's pretty chilly tomorrow. We'll have flurries to the north, but much colder weather will be in play for Friday. We also have a snow chance south of the city, but the weekend so far so good. We're looking at a mix of sun and clouds, temperatures in and around 40 degrees, and then it turns colder again for Monday and Tuesday. Bianca, feeling like winter, even though it's still officially fall.
I know. When does actual winter start? It's like the 20s?
The 21st.
Okay. Oh, yeah, definitely feeling like winter. We're getting a false sense of reality right now. Audrey, thanks so much. Meanwhile, what started as a way to deal with the loss of a loved one has evolved into the personal mission of a woman on Long Island. Fox 8's Jody Goldberg has her story that is now inspiring others.
Every morning, you can find Mindy Doveberg singing her way toward the surf in Long Beach. Her sanctuary, the Atlantic Ocean.
Before I was doing this, I would always see surfers running up the ramp with their surfboards, and I never understood what they were so excited about.
Now she gets it, and for close to 1,000 days, it's been her 5 to 10 minute ritual. It all started after her father passed away.
It was a year after his passing, and I could not shake the grief out of me. And so I was meditating, and I came out of the meditation. I heard go into the ocean, so I just did. And in that moment, I forgot that he had died.
And since then,
it's like a low tide day.
Every morning,
okay,
the 52-year-old walks out wearing warm weather gear and then strips down to her swimsuit and slowly walks in.
I usually say an intention.
Not only has it helped her mentally, but it's helped physically too. Mindy needed a cane after a car accident left her with a chronic pain disorder.
As you can see, I'm not walking with a cane today, so it's really, it's such a transformational journey for me.
Now the Reiki master teacher and author has inspired others to join in too. She started the Sunday Splashers in Long Beach, a growing group of people looking to share the same feeling.
I thought, I need to meet her and I want to connect with her.
She's even become the talk of the town.
She is very courageous, and I love that she does what she loves, and it works perfectly for her.
Now, just to give you an idea of how mental it is, I'm standing here in a winter coat, my hood's on, I have no socks on, I'm already cold. Walking to the water, Mindy's in a bathing suit, and I couldn't be colder. This is no joke, and you mean to tell me you're out here in all types of weather?
Yes, when it snows, I love it. I do snow angels in my wet bathing suit. It's awesome.
Rain or shine, fever or fatigue, Mindy doesn't miss a morning, marking each day in the sand.
9:62. People always want to do things when they're motivated. And that's not going to happen. Sometimes you just need to do the thing first, take the action first.
She finds warmth in the cold.
So my fingers have memory of the cold for so many years.
Joy in the journey.
When I walk back in my home, I always say, I'm so happy I did that.
And she has no plans of stopping anytime soon. In Long Beach, Long Island, Jody Goldberg, Fox 5 News.
She is incredible. I could never, but more power to her. All right, from that to this, One Day in October, it is a new scripted series depicting the horrific October 7th terror attacks in Israel. Next at noon, we're going to speak with the producers and a survivor whose story helped inspire the brave, heroic, and resilient story. You're going to want to stay tuned and watch this.
need law.
Wow, this one's pretty heavy. One Day in October. This is a series now airing on HBO Max that's based on the October 7th terror attacks in Israel. It's the first scripted depiction of that horrifying day. The series transcends politics, nationality, and religion to highlight universal human narratives of love, loss, courage, and of course, survival. Joining us now is co-creator, director, and producer of One Day in October, Daniel Finkelman, as well as a producer of One Day in October, Haya Amor. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
When I first heard about this project, I said, absolutely, I would love to chat with them about this, especially for our noon audience. We have so many people that were affected by what happened here in New York. So for people that don't know about this series, tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel, would you like to add this?
Yes, first of all, thanks for having us. And I'm not the director. The director is actually Oded Davidov. Oded Davidov, who's in Israel and has done a great job. And just acknowledging the other two producers, Lee Cooperman and Aviv Ben Shlush. So how did this happen? You know, when October 7th happened, what people saw was the politics, like you said, was the chaos, with the numbers. What was missing was the humanity behind the headlines. And so we felt the need and the urge to actually give all these stories a heartbeat. Because at the end of the day, history isn't abstract, it's personal.
Sure.
And history isn't determined by politicians, but actually by survivors. And so, you know, when we say never again, this is what it's all about, never again, because we truly believe that the best, and I'm you know, making an equation of what's happening here in New York City, the best vaccine against hate is actually telling the stories, telling the media, and that's why this show exists.
Yeah, it's something that Daniel also said. Why now? And I'm sure when this happened, you probably were not thinking about doing something like this, but why now?
Actually, we started our project 2 months after October 7th. Wow. Which I think a lot of people were like, oh, this is a little bit too soon. And I was like, it's not soon enough. Listen, we live at a time and age where the stories are happening really fast, and the change of the narrative is happening faster. You know, so when it comes to storytelling, honestly, when it comes to war, actually, the first thing that dies is the truth. So in order for us to preserve what we thought would be the best way to kind of break through that noise was storytelling, which is what we do. So that was really important for us. And then honestly, October 7th isn't a Jewish issue. It's a world issue.
Sure.
And it was super important that the way we represented our series, which is 7 different stories that touch 7 different cultures, communities, was that it shows that this is a world problem. This is an ideology of hate that unfortunately is taking over the world. And, you know, putting it as a Jewish issue, I think takes away from so many other people who are affected by it.
Daniel, that's interesting because each different segment tells a story of someone different. So are you focusing not just on the survivors, but all people that were affected during this event, correct?
Correct. People were affected on, you know, different, whether it's young people, who were there at the music festival at Nova, or the Bedouin community, which one of the episodes actually tells that story. And the bottom line is, this show is not a monument. This show is a mirror for everyone watching, seeing what would I do, how would I react, was I in this situation? And what we're trying to set with this show is priorities. Because if anything October 7th taught us is a new set of priorities, what's important for me, what's important for my community, and what do I believe in?
Sure. We are actually going to speak to a survivor, one of the women that you kind of brought into this creative process. Was there a story that really stood out to you, or is Sabine, who we're going to speak to, was that something that just really stuck with you for the rest of your life?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every story that we chose were also stories that we're going to tell so much more than just their story. They're a voice for all of the voiceless that we're not getting to tell. So the story that, you know, the survivor that we have here today, she was absolutely amazing. Her name is Sabine. And for us, you know, the survivors are the story. So having her on the journey, you know, they actually approved all the scripts and everything. They were with us
involved
from beginning to end. I mean, we're not exploiting them. This is about their story and making sure that we do well with how we do it. It is fictionalized, though.
Sure.
So it's interesting. It's entertaining.
Where can people watch it? Because it's already out.
Of course. HBO Max. This is where you can watch it. It dropped on October 7th, and 7 episodes, and it's all there.
Wow.
So they can watch it now.
Yes,
we'll appreciate the work that you guys are doing.
And I'll just acknowledge Fox Entertainment, who have been partners with us throughout the whole process, as well as Mariah Media under the Simon Wiesenthal Center.
Wow. Well, I appreciate both of you guys being here and for the work that you're doing telling these stories. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We have more news straight ahead. Stay with us. The new series One Day in October magnifies heroism and resilience in the face of the October 7th terror attacks in Israel. One of the episodes, Light, is based on survivor Sabine Dassa's life, who was involved in helping shape the content and her personal storyline of that episode. She joins us now. Thank you so much for being here, Sabine.
Thank you.
When you look back at October 7th, what is one memory that sticks out to you so vividly that you just cannot get out of your mind?
The face of this terrorist that was in front of me. You will not believe me, but before I saw my husband lying there, died, and all the blood and my children was so injured, the first thing that always I'm thinking about this day was his face in front of me and how he tried to kill me.
Wow.
He was in front of me with the big gun that he had, the Kalashnikov. And I remember when I saw his vest, it was covering by many blood, but I didn't understood yet, and I didn't understand that it was the blood of my husband that 10 minutes ago was murdered. And when I saw his face and the green scarf around the head, I said, what's happening here?
Yeah, it's too fast to process.
You cannot believe that very early in the morning, they will get in your house, raped, murdered, burned, killed, taking many babies, cut all the private organs of many women and young children, and one of them is in front of you.
Yeah. I don't even understand how you can sit here and talk about this and relive these moments when you lost your husband and family members, but you are doing this constantly after the October 7th terror attacks. Why do you do it?
First of all, I just want to tell and answer that I lost my husband and my older son 25 minutes before Gil. I lost two of my family.
Yeah.
So to your answer, for me, it's not a possibility. It's my, my job to do it, because I must to tell you, even me, I was so naive, and I believed that maybe we have partners to have with them, peace. And we did everything in Israel. I can tell you that my moshav, my little village, it's not far away from Gaza, is the closest moshav to Gaza. And we did everything, but I didn't believe that maybe someday have many of them that will attack and murder us. But to your answer, for me, it's my job, because tomorrow it can happen here in USA or in Europe.
When you talk about this series, it follows your storyline. When you watched it back, what did you think?
I think that I cannot ask more better from this project, because this is the real testimony of us, the survivor, and the people that we lost. It's like a Rishima Schindler, the list of Schindler.
Yeah.
After you saw the film, the famous film, you understand what really happened to the people, the Jewish people in the Holocaust.
Yeah.
For me, it's the same.
Well, is there one thing you want to let people know before we go, because we're running out of time here? I just want to make sure you say what you have to say before we leave.
I want to say that, first of all, the Israeli people are not violent and terrorists like everyone think. We were attacked in the October 7. We are the victim. Israel don't have a choice, protect herself. And yes, she must continue to fight for the radical Islam. I don't talk about the citizen of all Gaza and all the world. I'm talking about the radical Islam. We need to do the big separate of them. And I begging you, please, open your eyes. Don't forget what's happened here 25 years ago.
Well, I was going to say, well, we certainly will remember it with this story. Sabine, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your story. I certainly appreciate it. And I'm so sorry for your loss, but thank you for keeping to speak up and spreading this story.
I will do my best, I promise.
All right, well, we have more news straight ahead. Stay with us. More than 1 million American women enter menopause each year, and they're in need of a science-backed information, especially now since so many questions are circulating and causing confusion in the wake of the FDA's recent announcement to remove most black box warnings from menopause hormone therapies. And we have a person that's very much qualified to talk about this here with us, Dr. Camille Clare, President-elect ACOG, and you're also a practicing OBGYN, so thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's get right to it. So what is menopause, and when does this transition typically happen for women?
Yeah, menopause is a period of time where someone stops having their menstrual period. It roughly happens average age around 51 years of age. For some people it's earlier, for some people it's later. They can have a transition, several symptoms that can occur for many years before that and even after. So that's what people are most concerned about and have most questions about.
And we have a lot of questions because we don't talk about it enough, which is why you're here to talk about this. But the FDA removing that black box warning on hormone therapy, what does this change mean for women going through menopause?
It really means reducing the barriers to discussing these concerns with patients. ACOG continues to recommend evidence-based approaches and really guides us in counseling our patients about what their individual risks are for each of the therapies that we recommend.
Okay, so hormone therapy now, is it safe? Is it for most women?
Hormone therapy is safe for most women. Of course, that requires an individual discussion about what someone's individual risks are, as well as what their goals are in treatment. So really speaking to patients about that is what's really important.
One thing that we don't talk about enough, too, is a lot of women joke that perimenopause is like puberty in reverse, and it can hit women at an earlier age than 51, far earlier than 51.
Sure. Many people can have symptoms for many, many years before that. Some of the most common symptoms are called genitourinary syndrome of menopause, which can happen to in about 40% of women, mostly symptoms in the vagina and urinary tract. People can have dryness, itching, discharge, urinary symptoms, sexual dysfunction, painful intercourse. So talking to your doctor about those symptoms are really, really important.
Well, Dr. Clare, we certainly appreciate you being here and just kind of shedding some light on that information. Thank you again.
Thank you. And check out ACOG's book, Menopause, What OBGYNs Need to Know.
Love that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, more news right ahead. Stay with us.
.730.
Good morning, everyone. Well, we do have a chilly day across the tri-state area, but a sun-filled one. A couple of clouds may decorate the sky from time to time, but bundle up because not only do we have temperatures in the 30s to low 40s, we do have a bit of a breeze out there, so that's adding to the chill factor on this Wednesday here. Tonight, we drop below freezing across the entire tri-state area. That means we're going to be very cold. It'll be sub-freezing as we start off the day tomorrow, and we'll have another day like today with a mix of sun and clouds. There's a chance of flurries off to the north, but check out what happens on Friday. We drop to 32 for the high temperature. It'll be even colder north and west of the city, and there is a chance of snow south of the city across parts of New Jersey. Then we turn colder again by Monday and Tuesday after what will be a relatively nice weekend. Bianca?
All right, Audrey, thanks so much. Well, that is our show, but before we go, we'll see you tomorrow. 25 words is less, and if you do want some more news, tune into the Fox Local app, which is streaming right now.
All right, everybody, it is Wednesday, December the 3rd. Antoine Lewis, very happy to be with you for Newsroom Live. Thank you so much for being with us. Wherever you are watching and streaming us from, we hope that you are right now someplace warm, because as we take a look outside, we can let you know a chill is definitely in the air. It's left over a little bit from last night. We've got some sunshine, though, but I'm not your meteorologist. Audrey Pointe will be joining us in just a little bit. But what I do want to talk is to you strap hangers, because some changes are coming right now that we want to make sure you're on top of to the F&M trains. Now, this is going to impact scores, dozens, millions, if you will, of people that use those two trains. Arthur Chien is bringing us up to speed about the swap that's going to be happening, and that's what's developing right now. Changes coming to those lines, and they're going to permanently be switching routes. But Arthur is standing by. Let's go to Arthur right now just to check in with him so Arthur can explain more. Good to see you, Arthur. Love the jacket, man.
Well, we need it out here. We can't be all nice and posh like you indoors in the newsroom. But you're right to say we're talking about millions of people here, because it isn't just the people who are riding the F and M lines that are going to be impacted by this change, which begins at 6 a.m. This coming Monday morning. It is also riders of the E and R lines, and that for that reason, the MTA says about 1.2 million riders are going to be impacted by this change. Let's talk about the reason for the change. Up until now, because of a merge on the Queens side before going into Manhattan, where the M train goes goes on the southern tunnel across the East River, trains have to wait. And people who ride these lines are probably used to being on a train, and at one point it stops for a few minutes, and then it starts rolling again. It stops for a few minutes because one of the M trains, or one of the switching trains, has to go in the tunnel first, and that's why everybody sits and waits. The MTA says by switching, by engaging in this swap, they no longer have to wait. The M will run on the northern tunnel going across Manhattan, and the F will go on the southern spur. So 8 stations in all are impacted directly by the switch, meaning when they go downstairs, if they're expecting an F or M, they're going to get the other one beginning at 6 a.m. On Monday morning. The F train will no longer be stopping at 21st Street Queensbridge, which is where we are. It will no longer stop at the Roosevelt Avenue station, the Lexington Avenue and 63rd Street station, and the 57th Street station. It will be the M that goes to those locations. And it will mean that the M will no longer be stopping at Queens Plaza, Court Square, 23rd Street, Lexington Avenue and 53rd Street, and 5th Avenue and 53rd Street. They will instead catch the F train. This is a permanent service change. It goes into effect on Mondays through Fridays from 6 in the morning until 9:30 at night. And we asked the MTA's chairman and CEO, Jano Lieber, about this because we wanted to know, while they know that 1.9 million people will be impacted, because they have the data, we wanted to know for how many people this actually complicates the commute for. They couldn't come up with a number. In fact, said pretty much nobody, which is really not the case, but had this to say about the importance of riders embracing this change. Have a listen in.
Nobody likes change, but here's the real benefits. Folks in this station in Roosevelt Island are going to get less crowded trains, whichever direction they head into. The F train coming from eastern Queens is really, really crowded in the morning. So you have more chance of getting a seat.
Right, so at this point, there are a couple of questions that linger. For one, this change is, although it's a permanent change, it's not every day of the week and it's not every hour of the day. So depending on where you get on, for instance, if you're taking the F train from the deepest parts of Queens, you were getting on Express before. But at 6 a.m., there's a switchover. But 6 a.m. means there are trains in different parts of the line. And so there's a question even amongst some of the more higher ups at the MTA when we raised the question, which is depending on where you are, what's really happening at 6 a.m. Certainly at this station here, at 6 a.m. it should be an M train now instead of an F. But what about further up or down the line, right? So that's one of the many questions being asked. The other one is for people who have longer commutes, they want to know what it means to them. And for people who are standing in a subway station at 9:30 p.m., do they know which train is coming and what it means for their commute? So there's some questions and some kinks to work out, but the MTA, for their part, they have people handing out flyers at the station here. We talked to some strap hangers already, and you'll hear more from them in our afternoon newscast. And they all seem to know that a change was coming. But the proof is in the pudding, as they say. So Monday, we're going to see how well strap hangers take to this change. Antoine?
Absolutely, Arthur. And one of the things I was curious about, you mentioned it, if they were going to have people out trying to explain what's going on, because this is very confusing. And just to put it into perspective for you and for everyone who's watching, when we were discussing and planning for today's Newsroom Live, I actually went over to Mio Abe, our planning editor, because she takes the F, and I'm like, Mio, help me figure this out, So it's really, really confusing. And the fact that you explained it so flawlessly is very impressive, Arthur.
Oh, thank you very much. I wonder, what did Mio say about it? Is she happy about it?
She was, interestingly, she's just bracing forward, and just to share with you and everyone who's watching, she said, well, here, Antoine, what they're doing, they're basically going to take 3 lines and condense them. There are 4 right now operating. She said they're going to basically take one out of the mix and use the other 3. That's how she explained it to us. And I was actually joking to her. I said, well, maybe you can come on after Arthur, and give us a little newsroom color. But before you go, Arthur, I know you said you spoke with a couple of strap hangers. The ones that you did speak to, I know we're going to hear from them later. What was their mood? Were they just trying to deal with it? Were they going like, oh, good grief, here we go again?
There was a gentleman who remembered when it was the swap. He told us, enlightened us, that that's the way it used to be. That at one point the MTA, under different leadership, changed it, and so now it's being changed back. So for him, he was like, I've been here. And he kind of shrugged it off. But others have told us how their commutes are going to change because they're used to getting into a certain part of Manhattan and switching trains, especially if you're going up and down the east side, right? The Lexington Avenue line connects at 53rd and Lex. It does not connect at 63rd and Lexington. So if you want to change to the Lexington line there, you actually have to come out of that station and then go into the other one. And that F train station or the Q train station is really, really deep. So it's not like just popping out onto the street and going down on the other side. It's more complicated than that. So for people who have to deal with that, I think we're going to hear a lot, or we're going to see how it is for them on Monday. But also worth pointing out that these neighborhoods go through some pretty, these train lines go through some pretty diverse neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. So while there are art flyers out here, and they are in English, and there is an effort to inform strap hangers, whether or not it's getting through to everybody in different languages, we'll also have to watch that a little bit more closely.
Arthur Chien, thank you, sir, for that report. Thank you for the jacket that you wore today. And you and the crew that you're out there with, you guys stay warm, all righty? All right, everybody.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, everybody, 110, other news developing right now we want to pass along to you. The NYPD has made an arrest after a pretty scary attack of an NYU student, 20-year-olds. Let's show you the video and tell you what's going on there. So this is what you're seeing right now. The person that was taken into custody after the NYPD says a student was attacked on her way to class in the Village. 45-year-old James Rizzo is accused of coming up behind, as you just saw, and seemingly a random attack. He's facing potential charges of persistent sexual abuse, forcible touching, and assault. Surveillance video shows the initial act of him running up behind the student, hitting her. And in a social media post, the 20-year-old victim, the student says that he grabbed her hair and threw her to the ground. So this person, again, was in custody, and we'll keep you up with the very latest like that. We also understand that he may have an extensive criminal history, but we have a crew that is going to be digging into this a little bit more. This is the very latest we have for you right now. Some election news to tell you about across the Hudson, if you will. Let's go to Jersey City because we have the results in the mayor's race, special race that was going on there. City Councilman James Solomon easily beating former New Jersey Governor Jim McGreevey in a runoff election. Solomon running on a platform making New Jersey's second largest city more affordable. He vowed to take on developers and special interests as well as to improve the city's schools. He's also promising to stand up to the president, whose administration is suing to end Jersey City's so-called status as a sanctuary city protective of immigrants. Okay, all right. Also, we want to let you know another story. Hoboken has apparently elected a new mayor in its own runoff election. City Councilwoman Emily Jabor easily winning that race with 54% of the vote over fellow Democrat and City Council member Michael Russo. Current Hoboken Mayor Ravi Bala did not run on re-election because he's going to be going to the state assembly. All right, Suzanne, would you take a wide shot just as we go to break, the backroom camera there? Because coming up in our next block, I just want to show you her in action. Oh, we can't see Morgan. I was trying to point to Morgan. Morgan Mackay, our political reporter, is about to mic up because she's coming up in the next block because Governor Hochul was in our building today, and Morgan's going to break down what that conversation sounded like today. It is 1:12 on Newsroom Live. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, back now, 114 Newsroom Live. Coming in now, our political reporter, Morgan Mackay, is joining us. Morgan, Governor Hochul on Good Day today.
Yes, yeah, she definitely made a little bit of news. She hit really 3 big points, I think, in her conversation this morning on Good Day. And one of the first things that at least grabbed my attention was her talk about taxes. And she did not rule out raising taxes on businesses and corporations next year. That's been a big debate, especially since Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani won his election just last month. He has a long list of priorities that he wants to see accomplished this next year, at least in the 4 years that he's mayor, but definitely wants to get the ball rolling next year. But these priorities, first, are going to need Albany approval, and second, they come with a hefty price tag. So that's something Hochul's going to have to look at next year. On top of that, the state could be dealing with a pretty high budget deficit, depending on if some federal funding cuts go through on health care and SNAP benefits, for example. So they're trying to decide, first of all, if there will be any extra money to do anything. Secondly, they're also trying to decide next year, and by they, I mean the state legislature and Governor Kathy Hochul, when they're doing budget negotiations, they're also going to have to decide whether or not, first, if there's money in the current budget to just fund their main priorities that they already have, they might need to raise revenue just to pay for the current state budget as it is, much less new priorities. But there are some things that they are considering. And so raising taxes on businesses and corporations, that's something they're looking at. Now, Mamdani, he likes to talk about how the New Jersey corporate tax is higher than New York's, and he wants to raise New York City's corporate tax to match that of New Jersey. However, something that's not really being looked at when he says that is, yes, it is less, but at the same time, businesses in New York City are also paying an MTA surcharge as well as state and city taxes as well. So they're also seeing additional taxes that make it actually higher than New Jersey is currently. So these are all things Hochul said she's thinking about. We actually have a soundbite, I think, that we can play of her talking about these taxes.
Okay.
Started universal child care in the state of New York. We're on the path to get there. But what people need to realize is that you can't just declare there's universal child care. You have to have enough facilities. You have to have enough teachers and caregivers. And so we worked on this over the last couple of years to really position ourselves to take more steps together.
So this is going to be a really big thing this next year, and I would imagine that could hold up budget negotiations this next year. The budget is due on March 31st, April 1st, I guess, to technically, depending on where you look at that, April 31st at midnight. March 31st at midnight. So Governor Kathy Hochul, though, has expressed some interest in raising these taxes on businesses. Now, businesses separately have been saying that if there is going to be an increased tax, they would like to be part of that conversation. We'll have to see how much of a part of that conversation
and
they
that's
are.
Fair. That's fair.
It totally
pushback.
is. Yes. And now the other thing that caught my eye out of this conversation with Governor Hochul was she also spoke about her wish to keep the NYPD fully staffed. She said that she wants to see the number of NYPD officers continue to grow. She says she wants to rebuild the NYPD police force. And she says that's something that she's expressed to Mamdani. Now, Mamdani separately has said that he wants to just maintain the current level of officers. I believe there are about 35,000 police officers. He wants to keep that even. He doesn't want to see that number grow. But Hochul today said she's also expressed to him that she wants to keep officers on the subway. She wants to continue to have the state pay for police overtime, especially when it comes to the subways. She says she's expressed that to Mamdani. Now, separately, also Mamdani has said that he wants to cut police overtime. So these are maybe two items that they're slightly disagreeing on. So I'd be curious to see exactly how this all plays out this next year. And then the third thing that caught my eye from this conversation with Governor Hochul was she did express more interest in building out universal child care. She has said that she agrees with Mamdani's proposal to provide free universal child care for New York City and for upstate, though. And they're projecting that this will cost about $14 billion. Some say it could cost even more, though. But Hochul bringing up an issue that that I've been speaking about with different officials and different people who will be part of this conversation if there is a rollout of universal childcare. But it's how are they going to find the teachers? How are they going to find the facilities? It's a big undertaking that I will be curious to see if they do get this started, exactly where all these pieces are going to come from. Because right now the state, as it is facing a teacher shortage. Where are they going to find some of these healthcare educators is yet to be seen. And even though they've been proposing this, there haven't been any details released. And Governor Hochul was mentioning this a little bit earlier today as well, about how she does support it, but there's a lot of unanswered questions. And I think we have that soundbite as well. Oh, we don't, but that's okay.
But she's walking a fine line also. She has to be careful because she's up for re-election. So at some point, while she's dealing with this, she's got to switch into campaign mode.
Exactly, and I think, that is why she is considering this universal child care, is because, one, she's going to be facing a lot of pressure from Mamdani and Mamdani's base this next year to accomplish at least one of his priority items, and she's already said she does not want to do fast and free buses. She does not want to take money out of the MTA at this time, especially as they're trying to find all these different ways to build revenue for the MTA. When you look at congestion pricing, even the new possible 3 casino licenses, that money is going to go to the MTA, so they're looking at ways to increase revenue from the MTA. She said the last thing she wants to do is take money out of the MTA. So fast and free buses for her is dead on arrival. However, the universal childcare is something that definitely goes with her platform of affordability. She does a lot with childcare education. And so, and she likes to refer also to how she's a mom and a grandma. So it definitely fits in with her agenda, and definitely something that I could see her trying to run on this next year. And it's something that she has discussed rolling out next year. But it's going to be tough. I don't know how you quite do that in this amount of time frame, short amount of time frame, but there are many people who think that they have a pretty good idea of how this could work, certain stakeholders. So I'm sure they're going to be brought into the conversation. I'm sure she's already having those conversations. But as you mentioned, it is an election year, and those businesses, they also do have a lot of sway as well in New York City and New York State. So if you put too much pressure on them, the last thing you want to see is businesses leave, and much less businesses vote against you, for Governor Kathy Hochul at least. And she's going to be facing potentially a tough re-election year next year. So
you said just now, I'm not sure how she does that, I'm not sure how you do that. You cover so much and just so many races and just so many things you keep your eye on, and you just make it look so easy, Morgan. So thank you for bringing us up to speed. That was a big, plus for Good Day to get her on, like
Great
that.
job.
So I just don't know how you do it.
No.
And as always, before we go, we always mention Politics Unusual.
Oh, thank
Morgan
you.
hosts our political coverage on Friday. She has 30 minutes with Morgan at 6:30. Politics Unusual with our Morgan McKay.
Thank you.
And you do a great job. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And this week we're talking about the feasibility of fast and free buses with some experts. Is it possible to have fast and free buses? So there you go.
She's already set.
Thank you. That's why
All
I
right,
appreciate
Morgan,
you.
stay right there, everybody.
Thank
One
you.
quick break. RV Pointe is miking up because we're going to talk about the weather. And Ms. Pointe, did you say there may be some snow in our future? Yes. Okay, all right, you heard the yes. Well, Antoine Lewis, happy to be with you. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
7:25 just on the dot as we take a live look outside. That is a very pretty picture. Look, the East River is all calm. There we're looking at the Hudson.
Very nice.
Very nice. But that's also deceiving.
Yes, it is. Very, and very deceiving.
Very deceiving, Ms. Pointe.
Yes. Yes, it's the kind of day where you look outside your window and you think, oh, that looks nice out there, compared to yesterday when we had all the snow, sleet, and rain, right?
That was a lot.
However, when you go outdoors, it feels very cold, and then factor in a wind. It's a little breezy out there. That's adding to the chill factor as we move along through our Wednesday. So you need to be bundled up for sure. I think we're going to take a look at some graphics, right?
There's the future cast.
Yeah, there we go. And it looks like we're going to see just a couple of clouds decorating the sky off to the north here. But for the most part, we're seeing plenty of sunshine across the Tri-State area. So again, sun-filled skies. It just looks better than it feels because when you step outdoors, that breeze is actually making for wind chills near the freezing mark in the city here. And, oh, there we go. There's some moisture there. That was actually in the form of rain, not snow, but we are expecting a few flakes to fly as we go into tomorrow. And that's mainly north of the city. No, don't worry. Don't worry. It's north of the city. But check out the lows for tonight. Below the freezing mark, yeah. This is actually going to look like some of the highs for Friday.
Oh, no.
Did you hear?
Wait, these are the highs?
Oh, my God. If anyone could have just seen his reaction.
Those are the highs? Look, it's like 20 degrees right
Those
there.
are the lows for tonight. However, these could be some of our highs for Friday. Yeah.
What's going on?
Okay, well, let me tell you. So tomorrow, not that bad, more like today, mostly in and around 40 degrees.
Right.
And then we have a cold front that's going to sweep through. Now that's going to squeeze out a few snow flurries off to the north tomorrow. That's about it. No accumulation expected. And it's going to bring in a frigid air mass that's coming out of Canada.
Oh.
We're talking record cold for tomorrow in areas across central U.S. And temperatures will be about 25 to 30 degrees below normal. That's headed our way for Friday. The high will be 32 in the city, even colder north and west. We recover over the weekend, but then we get another Arctic blast coming in on Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, we're actually in a very cold Arctic weather pattern here for the next couple of weeks. However, in the long range forecast, like another week or two from now,
here we go.
We do see a little bit of milder air coming in. So we're gonna get a little bit of a break around the middle of December.
So maybe some temps in the 70s and 80s?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. It'll be better than what we have right now.
Better than what we have right now.
Right. Right.
Okay.
But this next 7 to 10 days, it's all these Arctic blasts that are coming out of Canada. There's also a couple of clipper systems that are coming through. So we're hearing a lot about snows around the Great Lakes.
What's a clipper system?
Clipper is a quick moving system that gives us bursts of snow. It's like a quick moving storm system, very quick, but short lived too, quick and short.
Okay.
But it does produce quick bursts of snow across the Great Lakes, upstate New York. That's what we're going to see on and off for the next couple of weeks, next couple of days, as well as into next week. There's also another storm system we're watching that'll pass to the south. I know
we're in the box.
We're in an active pattern, so it's gonna. Yeah. Okay. See that moisture coming up from New Jersey?
Jersey, right?
Yeah. That shows in rain, but the European model, which is one that we take a look at, it's indicating snow. It's now actually for the last couple of days indicating snow. So I'm actually throwing a snow chance in for Friday across central and southern New Jersey. But it does show that, okay, that's the wrong source there, Suzanne.
I like those numbers better, though.
Yeah, that's the wrong forecast. This is the right one. This is the right one.
So we'll stick with this one.
Let me talk about New Jersey. So that storm system that's going to pass to our south, that could actually creep a little further north and give snow here on Friday. So we'll have to see. It's
snow in the city?
Right now, okay, look, I threw a snow chance.
I see
snow chance because there is a chance. Depending on what model you're looking at, there's a very minimal chance with the GFS, but there's a very big chance on Friday with the Euro. So we're watching for the next 24 to 48 hours.
Look at the low. It's like 19 on Friday.
Honey, that's just in the city. North and west, it's even colder.
I got plans Friday.
You better plan to bundle up. That's what you need to plan to do. All right, so 38 right now, 42 in Newark, 42 in Islip, so chilly.
What's on tap for next week? I thought I just saw at the tail end of that milder.
No, it's in the 30s.
30s.
Again, so we're going to be okay for the weekend, and then we get another Arctic blast going into the beginning of next week. I know it's going to be cold, at least through next, what's the 12th? Is that Friday? Next Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question for you. Do you know what the word rage bait means?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Share it with us if you know what that word means.
Is that when people post things to, they'll post negative things to make people click on it because they know they're going to see something controversial
or reaction.
Very how do you say Inflammatory. Thank you.
You owe me
I
a
got
soda.
first.
You owe me a
I got
soda.
first.
No, I said it first. Sorry, we do this off work hours. But rage bait is the Oxford word of the year. And coming up in our next block, if you got time to stick around, you know, we're actually going to be talking with, you know, people from Oxford, you know, about that word.
Really?
Yeah, Casper. Casper Grothwald will be joining us. So he's standing by on Zoom.
You can tell me if I had it right. I think I had it right.
He's listening, I believe, right now. We see him over there in the box. He's nodding his head. So anyway, folks, stick with us because we're going to be breaking down the Oxford word of the year, rage bait, when we come back.
I had it first.
You did not see it first. All right, everybody, welcome back to Newsroom Live. Antoine Lewis, Audrey Pointe joining you because we just asked Audrey if she knew what rage bait meant, and we have the script. It's the Oxford Dictionary Word of the Year. I'll let you do the honors.
Okay, it's, well, you've heard of clickbait, now it's rage bait. More than 30,000 people voted. Rage bait came out on top. It's beating out other trendy words like aura farming. What is that?
Well, you know what?
I know aura, but I don't know aura farming.
Well, you know who we can ask.
Oh, yes, we have someone.
Casper Grothwald is joining us. He's with the Oxford team that selects and gets these words to us. And I guess the first question that we have for you is, what was that one before we get into rage bait?
Aura farming?
Aura farming.
Yeah, what is that?
Do you know what that one is, Casper?
Sure. Aura farming is this new term online about when we cultivate an impressive and really cool persona, but you make it seem like it's really easy and relaxed and nonchalant, like you're not even trying. It's that idea of a couple of years ago, we had Riz as our word of the year. It's like showing up your persona through all of your posts and the like that mean you've got a lot of Riz, but you pretend like you don't even try.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Did you get that?
Yeah. Just so that you know, Casper, I was sharing
Sounds
my
like
IFB with Audrey so that she could hear it as well.
Yeah. And it
Great.
sounds like my teenagers.
Yes, exactly.
They're not watching. They're at school.
So walk us through the process, Casper, as far as, you know, how you get the submissions and then ultimately how the decision is made on the word of the year, the Oxford Dictionary Word of the Year.
Sure. I mean, at Oxford Languages, we track how language is changing all year long. We analyze a large corpus of news and social media feeds and how people are using language, the scripts and the language that you use on your show. We put this all together and we analyze it, and we start to see trends in different words and spikes in usage. And from that, we're able to identify words that we think have a lot that we're preoccupied with this year, and we put those into a short list of potential words of the year, and in the end we ask the public to vote, and then we take that information, we add it to our analysis, and we pick a word of the year.
Okay, can I ask about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because one of the I saw on the list that I know that I've paid a lot of attention to is biohack. Tell us a little bit about that one, or tell people what it is.
Well,
that don't know
biohack.
first.
Sure. Biohack is this trend where we're trying to optimize our health, whether it's to live longer, extend our life, live better. It's supplements, it's technologies that we're embedding in ourselves, it's new fasting techniques to, but all of this is about hacking and optimizing our own health. And there's all kinds of trends around this right now. And that term biohack and biohacking encompasses that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
surprised you like fitness and stuff. I thought
Yeah, but I'd never heard of biohack. But you know what? I had a couple of questions also just to ask you, Casper. Now, the 2024 word of the year was brain rot. That was last year. All right, 2023 was Riz, which I didn't even know. What is Riz?
Did you get these for my kids? My kids.
You know that one?
Yes, these are the words my teenagers use. Yes.
Clearly, I'm old.
Yes, exactly. Riz is one of those years. It's a Gen Z, Gen Alpha word where it's that essence of cool that some people have and some people don't, and they just it's called. I think it's short for charisma is where we think that started from, but really Riz, and part of the reason it caught on and is because it's fun to say. I mean, some words just have a crackle to them, and Riz, it doesn't surprise me that people love to use the word and it spread like wildfire.
Now, wait a minute, Casper. Using Riz in a sentence? Let me,
oh my God, you're so
let me
funny.
see. Susanne has good Riz.
No, it wouldn't be
Audrey's
good
got great Riz.
Audrey's got
Thank
great
you.
Riz.
Accurate.
You're welcome.
So why was it when I tried to give Susanne
Well,
Riz?
when
how's
you
that
use
wrong?
Riz, you wouldn't say good because Riz automatically indicates good. Like it implies
Exactly.
Oh.
He's got Riz.
Casper.
Yes.
What
You're absolutely
you talk
right.
to Casper.
Audrey, you want to come work for us?
Right. I would be like, Casper has Riz.
Casper
Yeah.
has Riz.
Right,
Okay.
that's what it is.
So Riz is short for charisma. He offered you a job, but you know our bossy mod is watching.
I was going to say, has the word skibbity on the list anywhere?
Honestly, we look at all of these words. And this year, for example, we were tracking that 6-7. You know how everyone, those kids are saying 6-7. But it doesn't mean anything. I don't have anything to say about it. It's nonsense. And so, some words I think say something about where we're at. And I'm not sure if 6-7 says good things about where we're at or not.
You're right, Casper, because as it was defined by my children, I actually did a story on this on our newscast.
She really did.
They admitted it doesn't mean anything, Mom. We just say whenever you hear 6-7, you're supposed to say out 6-7. Like things like that.
Yes.
Like we're here at Fox. We're on 67th Street. So if you said, "Hey, we're on 67," I'd be, "Oh, 6-7." 6-7. And so it sounds to me, according to Oxford, that you need to have a definition in order for a word to be implemented in the dictionary.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, we're in the business of trying to help people understand kind of the language we're using and what that means about where we are as a society and a culture. And I think. I'm not sure what 6-7 says about us, but it makes what it does. It makes me feel old, is what it does.
Well, I interpreted it when it became a thing, in the last however many months. 6-7, like, what time are we meeting? Oh, no, 6-7. That
you're saying your age right there.
That's not how they
exactly.
Use it. That's not
exactly.
I didn't know that.
It's not, and it's funny because once we get a grasp of it and start using it, then it's done. It's done.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly right.
So when my kids, when I say it, they cringe. They're like, "Oh no," and they're over it. Now we're moving on to the next thing, which I don't know what it is yet.
No.
Soon.
Okay, so the word for 2022 was goblin mode. I don't. I got nothing. What's
goblin mode had a moment. I mean, some words of the year capture like a moment in time and then they're gone. Other words, like selfie, for example, which was our word, 2014, 15, and it exploded and became part of our lexicon. It's hard to know which words are going to last or not. Goblin mode had a moment, and it said something about how we were coming out of the pandemic and how we were presenting ourselves and what that meant. But you know what? You say goblin mode to someone this year, and they practically don't know what you mean.
Yeah. I have a question. You mentioned that one of the words this year is aura farming, or at least the term
aura farming,
right?
yes.
So, according to my kids, because I hear it all the time, they use the word aura, like just aura,
yes.
not aura farming. But that's already a word. That wouldn't be a new word. So what happens when you have that kind of dilemma?
Well, so aura, and you're absolutely right. Aura farming is a combination of the sense of aura that your kids are using, that kind of that kind of persona and their kind of thing with farming, which is we're familiar with this new sense of farming where you're doing a repetitive task a lot of the times online to try, it's something that you're cultivating, like farming. And so it's the combination of those two together. And that's what makes it a new word, and it's an open compound. Right. One of the things I get with the word of the year when it's a compound word is they say, wait, that's two words. Like, you're not picking a word, that's two. Rage bait is two words, but rage bait's a little bit like ice cream or hot dog. It's two words, but it's really one concept. It's one form of expression. And so it like fits, but you'd be amazed. Rage bait, the amount of rage that is caused by when we bait people with a term like rage bait as the word of the year because they want it to be one word is amazing.
Yeah. Very interesting. What's the window when you are deciding for the selection process, Casper? What's the window?
Language changes so fast that we start usually about 6 weeks or so before we announce the word of the year, because we've been tracking the language all year, but half the candidates that we were tracking throughout the year that we thought might make a good word of the year, its moment has passed. The whole point is to try to put your finger on something really intangible like that, something that right now is going to resonate with people. It's really hard to know. And half the time we put this word out there, we've got the evidence that it's being used, and people really want to talk about it. Other times it's a flop. You don't know, Yeah. But the point is to try to get people to think about the language we use and what that says about where culture is right now. Where as a society are we?
So not all of the words are, I don't want to say Gen Z driven or social media driven, right? We can still have some of our generation.
Of course. Look, youth culture has driven innovation in language for generations. Young people love to play with language and so it makes sense. A lot of words come out of youth culture, but there are a lot of words that we use that are changing as well. And the domain of new language is not exclusive to kids. We're all expert practitioners of English. We use it every day. And so own it. Keep making new words, using them, trying them out, and who knows what's going to stick.
I might have to have you have a talk with my teenagers, though, to let them know that I can use these words. I'm allowed. But Casper said so.
You are. You're an expert.
Riz, though. Okay, Riz is short for charisma. Question for you, Casper. You sound like you have the coolest job ever. How in the world did you get a job with the Oxford team there?
I just got lucky, but I can tell you, I have the coolest job ever.
You have Riz. He has Riz.
You got Riz.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about Riz, but I've got a cool job.
Casper Grathwohl with Oxford, thank you so much for your explanations. Thank you so much for helping us understand. Thank you so much for your unsolicited parenting advice that you've given to my friend and colleague.
Audrey, anytime you need me to talk to your kids, I'm there.
All right, put you on my speed dial.
And
Next time I hear another
other people have heard you say that, so take her call when you see it pop up. We want to say that.
Okay, Antoine. Thank you both.
I might be supplying your list of words for this coming year with just talking to my kids.
Absolutely.
She can kick into goblin mode. So, okay.
Thanks, Casper.
Bye-bye.
All right, Casper. One quick break, everybody. More news, more headlines, more picking with Audrey as she tries to relate to her children when we return.
We're going to have more Riz.
1:45 on Newsroom Live. Very happy to be back with you as we take a look outside, because Audrey's been telling us that we're about to run into some very cool weather, but
not that bad. I mean, it's cold today. Enjoy it because it's going to be much colder by Friday.
So, all right, we just had the election, a couple of weeks back, and we know Zohran Mamdani, the people of New York, mayoral election, thank you. Zohran Mamdani, the people elected Zohran Mamdani. But as you all know, all of us, there is an opportunity when you go to the ballot, to vote, to the poll booth, to write in candidates. It's space there. It's certainly within the Constitution to allow to do that for New York State. And we just thought it was interesting, just some of the names that actually got votes.
Oh my God, they keep track of that?
The city releases the list of names. They publish it of all of the write-in candidates. We selected some of the more interesting ones. That's why I asked you if you could stick around. Because look, these were actual vote getters. Jalen Brunson, star of the New York Knicks, received 15 votes.
Out of
exactly.
Out of
15 New Yorkers voted for Jalen Brunson for mayor. 2 voted for Neil deGrasse Tyson, astrologer, like one of the 3 smartest people on the on the planet. Jessica Tisch, current NYPD police commissioner. She received 109. Joe Jonas, one of the Jonas brothers.
He hangs in Brooklyn.
Oh,
isn't that the one that's in Brooklyn?
Was
that Nick Jonas?
That's one of them.
Which was the Jonas brother that hung out in Brooklyn? It was a coffee. He showed up at a coffee shop. It went viral, and all the teeny boppers showed up.
Okay, so wait, you seem to know a lot about. Were you the one that voted for Joe?
It wasn't me. I'm not even sure if that's the one that hangs out in Brooklyn.
And Martina McBride, the country singer, received one.
He's looking it up.
He's looking it up. Jonah is looking it up.
McBride.
Also, we got another list because some of the politicians, some familiar names, of the political world.
There's
also
more.
Donald Trump, President Trump, received 5 votes for New York City mayor.
He already has a job.
Exactly.
He has a big job. He doesn't have time to be mayor of our city.
Michelle Obama received 5.
What's she doing right now?
Book tour,
Right, that's right.
Now, these 2 were interesting. Fiorella LaGuardia, former mayor of New York City, and also who our airport is named after, received 3. And he passed away in 1947. I checked before we went on the air.
Right, so how would he be the mayor?
Someone felt the need to add him, to that.
Make sure we didn't forget.
So, and Ed Koch, passed away in 2013, I believe it was, at age 90.
It was Joe Jonas.
It was Joe Jonas of the Jonas Brothers in Brooklyn. So
see, now
there we have that.
What was the name of the coffee shop?
Buddies in Brooklyn.
Buddies in Brooklyn. Yeah.
Suzanne, take a wide shot
now
so we can show everybody how Jonah, our production assistant, is filling us in on that. That's Jonah right there waving. So there we have that. We thought it was interesting just to share because that is certainly
fun.
a part of the voting privilege. You have a right to write in whom you think. You could write in yourself,
My
if you
daughter
felt so
actually
moved.
wanted to write in herself.
Lola?
No.
Santina? Yeah. Okay. She wanted to write. Maybe she's got a political career waiting for her.
She didn't like any of the candidates. She thought she would do better.
Gen Z.
That's right.
All right, everybody. 1:48. More Newsroom Live. I know you're busy. Thanks for sticking around with us and stuff like that. A quick break, everybody. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, back now at 1:50 on your Wednesday, December the 3rd. Antoine Lewis, very happy to be with you. Also wanted to say hello to many of you that are watching us on our streaming service or the platform maybe. We're glad that you are with us. Hello, hola, Imelda Charles. So you are watching from Guyana, we understand. So hope that you are enjoying your day. You had a great weekend. We're glad that you are watching us, as we are glad for everyone who is sticking around with us. To Colombia now, because we want to fill you in on the very latest about the country's volcano. The Puracé volcano actually erupted. Look at that. So apparently Colombia's geological service is raising its alert status. Now, the alert status was raised to the orange level after the volcano erupted for the first time in decades. As you see right there, video capturing ash and smoke spewing out. It was near the city of Pompayan. The last time the volcano actually erupted, wow, was in 1977. So there you have that there. Mother Nature right there doing her thing at work. Also, overseas news we want to bring you up to speed on developing right now. The Ukraine peace talks, apparently, as we understanding, and this could possibly change, it's developing, have been canceled. Here's what we can tell you. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, presented the Trump administration's peace plan to Russian President Putin on Tuesday night. A Kremlin official said today that Russia is, quote, absolutely comfortable on the battlefield and sees, quote, no point in serious compromising. However, just hours later, a spokesperson walked back those remarks and claimed that the talks are still ongoing. So a planned series of talks in Brussels today between Witkoff, Kushner, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has reportedly abruptly been called off as well. Americans have left Moscow and are said to be heading back to the United States. So again, this is developing right now. A lot of eyes, a lot of interest on this, hoping that some resolution to this conflict had been found, or at least potentially discussed. So we're going to keep our eye on more information coming out of the Trump administration, the State Department perhaps, just to see how this is going. But yeah, that's the very latest on that situation there. Also, we want to recap top stories, if you will. Police in New York City, NYPD, have arrested a man caught on video with an assault. And here's what's going on. The person, 45-year-old James Rizzo, whom you see right there, is accused of coming up behind a student, 20-year-old student, as she was on her way to class, NYU student. He's charged with persistent sexual abuse, forcible touching, and assault. As you saw in the surveillance video, the initial act showed him running up behind the student and hitting her. In a social media post, the 20-year-old victim says that he grabbed her hair and threw her to the ground. So he is off the streets. Good work to the NYPD, and again, he's just charged right now. All right, everybody, 1:53. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back. More news, more headlines when we return. I'm Antoine Lewis. Very happy to be with you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. right, everybody, back now. Newsroom Live. Antoine Lewis, very happy to be with you from the newsroom of Fox 5 on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. In our studios today, New York Governor Kathy Hochul was on. She was on with Kurt and Rosanna this morning on Good Day New York, talking about her working, how she foresees her working relationship with Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani once he takes office next month. And she also talked about universal child care, which has been a platform that Mamdani actually campaigned on. It's also a passionate cause, if you will, for Governor Hochul. She also outlined how she thought that it would work in New York State. So take a listen to how the governor addressed the possibilities of universal child care.
I already started universal child care in the state of New York. We're on the path to get there. But what people need to realize is that you can't just declare there's universal child care. You have to have enough facilities. You have to have enough teachers and caregivers. And so we worked on this over the last couple of years to really position ourselves to take more steps together.
So the reason why this is important is because of the number of working families, the number of working mothers, you know, who have been crying for this, and certainly other administrations at the state, at the local level have tried. But since the mayor-elect has kind of made it a signature platform, if you will, that he campaigned on, that's why there's even more renewed attention, if you will, on universal child care. And certainly the governor is also, as you just heard her say, it's been something that she's been trying to get off the ground, if you will, but certainly going to pick up more steam from Albany on her end, because she's also campaigning for re-election next year. And this will definitely be a cause that she's going to address just because of the significance and the importance that it is to so many New Yorkers. All right. Now, if you recall yesterday, we were dealing with a messy mix outside, but let's talk to you about what we can foresee for the next couple of days, because we know that the chill in the air right now is only going to get worse. So here we go. Let's do it. All right. So as we see, the Futurecast is coming up right now. It looks clear, but it's going to change at some point. You know, it's definitely not going to be as steady as that. But we can let you know that right now that the temps that you're feeling right now, we're going to be going into the 30s, and then Friday the low is actually going to drop down to the teens. We're talking about 19. So there is some possibilities of snow between Thursday night into Friday. So it's just know that, everyone, that, you know, weather is going to be very, very frigid. If you have plans, you definitely want to layer up. Also, you will possibly need the snow boots moving into the weekend, at least 30 into Friday. Going that. And then that Arctic blast will be making its return to us next week. So just know that as well, particularly if you're on any of the outlying areas there. So let's check with the team. How's our time, everyone? 1 minute left. All right. So as we talk to you about that, the other interesting thing, the only other thing I wanted to make sure we pass along to you was, in case you did not know what the word of the year was, if you missed that conversation with the Oxford team, it is rage bait. Rage bait is the Oxford Dictionary word of the year. And if you had never heard of it, apparently it's it's the act actually of a post or just something to trigger a very strong, if you will, angry, if you might, word reaction from someone. It's online content deliberately designed to elicit anger or outrage, and it was posted in order to drive traffic to a website. The first time the word was used was in 2002, apparently. So there you have that. All right. So as we are about to say goodbye to you, we want to let you know that the next news on our end will be coming up at 4 o'clock, the news block. I'll be joining you there. We'll be bringing you up to speed on all of today's news, as well as everything that's happening internationally as well, and including the full forecast. Take the wide shot, if you will, Suzanne, for all of us here.
Thanks for watching Fox 5's Newsroom Live. We're now joining Live Now's non-stop stream of live and breaking news.
We're going to block this kind of development. The senior senator from New Mexico, his state is drill, baby, drill. 2 million barrels a day. They're now using that oil money for everything under the sun, infrastructure, childcare, healthcare. But Alaska, no way. We're going to shut you down. And you know what? You're going to actually make the people I represent not live as long. So, Mr. President, that's why I come down the Senate floor. I get a little bit hot under the collar, because I just see this blatant hypocrisy on the other side. And I just need one Democrat beyond Senator Fetterman to vote with the people of Alaska, the native people. for their livelihood, for an increase in how long they live. That would be a courageous vote. That would be the right thing to do. I hope that all my Republican colleagues will stand strong with us on voting yes on this important resolution, and I hope that maybe one or two of my Democratic colleagues, who, by the way, they know it's the right thing to do, this resolution will help people live longer. It'll help our country be stronger in terms of American energy. It will vindicate the rule of law after Joe Biden and Secretary Haaland blatantly violated it. So I hope all of my colleagues can join me in supporting yes on this important resolution for the Native people of Alaska, for my state, for our great nation. And with that, Mr. President, I yield the floor.
All right, as you see there, listening in to some of those remarks that just wrapped up there from Senator Dan Sullivan, the Republican from Arkansas, delivering remarks there on the floor. And so we wanted to make sure we brought that to you here on Live Now from Fox. We're still watching for some of these other live events that are going to be getting underway shortly. But before we slide to our first 2-minute commercial break, we brought you this briefly here on Live Now. Want to listen back in as Israeli officials are holding this event and speaking out. This is the Ambassador Summit there for 2025. It seems like our feed might be glitching here for a second. Let's hold on to it to see if it's able to rectify itself. But again, let's see if we can listen in. All right, it does seem, unfortunately, as we did try to initially bring it to you. Oh, it seems like it's back. So let's listen back in.
But the truth must be told. There is an evil